Ernie's restaurant in San Francisco had always been a favorite of Tom and of mine. And so we were there for dinner in 1971, and Jean, the sommelier, forced upon us to taste a George Latour from Beaulieu Vineyard. We did not want to do that because we were Francophiles in our collection, in our cellars, and our tastes. Our palates were French. And so we wanted a French wine. We did not want to drink a California wine. He forced it upon us, and we tasted it, and it was the first time we realized that a beautiful Cabernet Sauvignon could be made in California. We wanted to know, of course, who the winemaker was and what the provenance of this wine was, and we began to do some homework after this shocking dinner, and found, of course, that it was Tchelistcheff at Beaulieu Vineyard who had created George Latour. So at that point, we had then gone ahead with our vineyard purchase, and we had not decided at that point that we were going to build a winery. But we did know that Tchelistcheff was regarded as the grand master of wine in the United States. So I believe it was late 1973 or very, very early in 74 when we made the decision to go ahead with a winery as opposed to just having vineyards. That we sat down and we thought, we need the very best guidance and leadership and direction that we can possibly get, because this was our dream, to build a state-of-the-art winery, but an estate-bottled winery in the European tradition. And frankly, there was only one Grand Master, and that was Tchelistcheff at Beaulieu. So we thought, how can we convince Tchelistcheff that he needs to help us and, in essence, adopt us on the side? Well, he didn't know who we were. I mean, we weren't anyone. So Tom said, okay, this is your job, Sal, to bring him in and see if we can convince him. And so it was a cold call, simply a cold telephone call. Good morning, Mr. Tchelistcheff. My name is, and you don't know me, but this is the story, and my reason for calling you is to make you an offer that you will find so compelling that you will not be able to resist. And the bottom line is that my husband and I would very much feel greatly privileged and honored if you would have lunch with us and let us outline our dream for you, because our dream is. And then I briefly described our dream as wanting to build an estate-bottled vineyard and winery in California that was reflective of the very best in Europe, a world-class winery with a world-class Cabernet Sauvignon. And would he deign please to meet with us just for an hour of his time so we could run what we're doing by him and see if he would be interested in adopting us just on a consulting basis to give us the guidance that we needed. And he bit. And he said, well, yes, I will meet you for lunch. Well, I was so thrilled. I went back to Tom and I said, he will meet us for lunch. And I said, when would you like? Anytime you want, we're available. And he set the time and the date. And it was pouring down rain. And the only restaurant near here was Catelli's. We all went to Catelli's. Catelli's was not a restaurant. Catelli's was like a private club because everyone in the valley, everyone in the wine business went to Catelli's. So it was lunchtime, and we took our architectural plans with us and our sketches and the things that we believed in, and met Andre at very wet Catelli's and had a spaghetti lunch. He chain smoked through the lunch because he was a chain smoker, which is very impressive to see someone with a palate like his chain smoke his way through wine tastings is very entertaining. So anyway, we had lunch and we showed him the plans, and we impressed upon him that we were not going to spare the horses. We were committed to do and spend whatever it took to have state-of-the-art wine, state-of-the-art winery, but with as much European character and elegance as we could possibly do. Would he help us? And he puffed on his cigarette and for the longest time said, well, Come and Sally, I will think about it. No, I said, you can't just think about it. We need to have you take us now. We are begging to be adopted. And there is one more thing, Mr. Tchelistcheff, sir. If you adopt us and give us the counseling on the oak tanks, on the blend, on the aging, on the fermenters, on the vines themselves, and the planting, on the whole thing, then you can select the winemaker who will be full-time for us. You can pick anyone you want, young or old, but whomever you pick will be your clone. You can clone a winemaker. And could we suggest that BV is a wonderful winery, but we can be your legacy. We can be the legacy of what you are by your living on through a young winemaker whom you can really work with, design, and mold in your own image. What do you think of that? And he said, I will do it. I will do it. And we had him. And so it was wonderfully thrilling, wonderfully thrilling. So, of course, then he came on board as a consultant and gave us enormous direction and counsel and advice. And then it came time, of course, for him to, as the winery began to be, was under construction, he realized that it was now time to go in search of a winemaker. And that was when he went to UC Davis and found the #1 graduating student in that class. That must have been the class of '76. And then he selected Rob Davis. And so here's this young man whom Andre had selected. He came to find his new work here in the Alexander Valley, and he was told to go to the Jordan Winery and report to Jordan Winery. And of course he couldn't find it. So he became lost because all there was the farm gate, and it took him the whole day to try to negotiate his way into the construction site. But that was the beginning of the Andre and Rob Davis love affair. And of course, to this day, Rob Davis will tell you over and over again that he was molded by Andre Tchelistcheff. And I think Andre felt towards Rob as though he really were his son. It was a wonderful thing. And so Andre adopted us, and we adopted him, and he continued to chain smoke through all of the wine tastings. And if our wine is lovely, which we believe that it is due to Andre Tchelistcheff and to Rob Davis.